Jody. How are you doing today?
Hey, Miss Robin, I'm Dandy. Welcome to our special agent podcast.
Yes. So this is episode number four. Four.
Number four.
And so, um, well, let's start with introductions again in case somebody's joining us here for the first time.
I hope they're joining us for the first time. That would be exciting if they were. I'm Jody Drake. I am the Pratt County, Kansas Extension Agent for K-State Research and Extension.
And I am Robin Eubank Callis, and I'm in Barber County. We're both here in Southwest Kansas. And today is a topic I'm really passionate about, and it's planning for success. What do you think of when I say that, Jody?
I sounds like you're starting to map out the rest of your life, girl. I don't know that if I can plan that far ahead.
Well,
I
you,
can barely get one foot out the door in the morning some mornings. And you should be the same way. You've got a kindergartner. Come
I
on.
do. I have a kindergartner, and he is headed back to school here. Yeah, I'm ready. Christmas break was great. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, Christmas break was great, but I am ready for the teachers to have him focused some during the day again.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, school wears him out much more than being at home with me does. So
All day kindergarten. It's a great thing.
it is a great thing. And he's learned so much. So,
Yeah.
yes. So, no, planning for success is not about taking on the rest of our lives, as you said, but it's really about thinking about how to write smart goals and action plans so that we can be successful even in making small changes.
You're not
So,
you're not gonna make me make New Year's resolutions, are you? Because I'm not. I'm not that type of gal. Because I never
no,
I
I'm
never
not
stick to them.
not going to make you do anything.
Okay.
But you are right. It's New Year's resolution time. And a lot of people may have already broke the New Year's resolutions that they promised themselves. That does tend to happen in the first week fairly quickly.
I'm not having a dry January. I'm not going to lose 50 pounds this month. I'm not going to commit to what else? Reading a book a week, although I probably will read a book a week, but I'm not going to promise anything. What else? Yeah, you get the picture.
Yes, I get the picture. But what I'm looking at is making small changes with specific goals that are in
Okay.
an attainable time frame. Because seriously, I love your book a week idea, but what happens when it's county fair season? If you make it to July with that one, you and I both know, too many years in this world of extension, we're not reading a book during the week of county fair.
No,
I'm
no,
probably not even listening to a 4 hour audiobook reading during the county fair.
no, we're not. Our brains are fried.
So let, let's talk about planning for success so that anybody out there who it does, I mean, the new year, how many people say new year, new me? Have you heard that one?
I have, yes.
Yes. So
I will
I
stop
know
whining.
I know you have details on SMART goals.
Yes. I
Yes.
do.
So
Yes. I
you
do
want
know
to
what a
tell
SMART
us,
goal is.
okay, what is a SMART goal?
Okay, so SMART goal is actually an acronym for setting a goal that is attainable. So the S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for attainable, R
Yes.
is can be a couple of things, relevant or realistic, and T is time based or
Yes.
timely. Mhm.
Timely. So there are several different versions of what SMART goals stand for. And a lot of times a lot of the literature out there has them around work-based things, but they can also be about your personal life, your health and your happiness, right?
Yes. Hmm. Yep.
So, before we hit the record button and came on, you shared an example of a SMART goal that you had written down there.
I did, and I like this one. This one was actually from this is an old curriculum that I had used several years ago. This came from Tufts University. This was their Heart Healthy program. And it's just a really simple one that they gave an example for. And it's one that they gave at the very beginning of the program, because of course you want to set goals at the beginning of their program. And I'll just read it off. A specific goal might be to get 5 extra minutes of physical activity each day for the next 2 weeks. The goal is measurable.
Mhm.
Either you've done it and for that amount of time or not. It is attainable since you can achieve it by just making a couple of small changes in your day. If you are committed to making lifestyle changes to lower your risk of developing heart disease, then it is certainly relevant. And it is time based on a schedule since you plan on doing it for the next 2 weeks. So I just thought that was an excellent example of a SMART goal. It's a really simple example.
You know, it is. It is. And the challenge for me is I would set that SMART goal, go, yep, that's doable. Five, and then I would get up and go to work the next day and go home. And by the time the kids are kid singular is in bed, I would go, I didn't hit my 5 minutes. Do you ever have days like that?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. Hmm. Yep.
So yeah. I love SMART goals, and we can write SMART goals around finances or any number of things, really. And but I actually love something a little more than SMART goals. I love making action plans.
Oh dear.
I loved your pause, dear.
Okay. All right.
So
Lay it on me.
so the action plan actually comes from well, the one that we're going to share, we'll share the link in the comments to the action plan, comes from a publication that Donna Krug, one of our former coworkers, she's now retired, but Donna wrote this, and I couldn't believe when I looked at the date, but she wrote this 12 years ago. So it's been around for a while, but the idea of an action plan is that you write it down and then you talk about how confident you're going to do it. So let me take your example and I'm going to ask you the questions on the action plan. So it would be this week. So in her material, we focus just 1 week at a time. What are you planning on doing
You
with
mean
your
exercise
example?
wise?
Yeah, with your example. What's your the what?
Oh, the what? Okay. So I plan on walking.
What? Okay, and then how
Oh,
much of it?
okay. So I plan on walking 15 minutes.
Okay. Your example was just 5 more minutes
Yeah.
for your SMART goal.
Right.
But
So,
then the next question that's not in the SMART goal is what time of day? When are you going to do this?
oh, on my lunch hour. Mhm.
Hmm. And I think that's what makes the action plan a little different as we get down to what time of day. And for me, I would have to set a timer to take a break and have a beeper
Oh,
go off
sure.
an alarm. Remind me, go
Point.
outside, walk your 5 minutes. Um, so, and then how many times? Do you think you can do this every day?
Well, that's what I said in my goal. I do it every day. Yeah.
So
Every
maybe,
day for 2 weeks. That's how
maybe
I was gonna measure it.
do you get a lunch hour on the weekends?
No.
So maybe it makes more sense to say maybe 5 out of the 7 days.
Oh, or maybe it makes more sense to say I'm going to do it at 12 o'clock every day.
There you go.
set an actual time.
Time. You could do it that way. And then the last step in an action plan is how confident are you that you can do this? So, how confident are you can add 5 minutes more of physical activity?
On a scale of 1 to 5, I'd say a 5 because it's just 5 minutes.
Okay. So, with the action plan, and I should have told you the scale was 1 to 10. So,
Oh, sorry.
in the literature, but anyway, you're really confident. So, that may say that your action plan isn't challenging enough.
Oh, well, fooey on you.
Well,
What if I don't want a challenging goal? What if I just want to hit the easy button?
you can. But when we were teaching this, it was the idea of we were trying to challenge. And so the 5 extra minutes, even 5 days of the week, might not be a challenge to you, but it might be to me. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's with the confidence factor, just for the sake of teaching here. My confidence on that, knowing that my lunch hours slip away too, I might only be at a 6. I'm not
That makes
totally
sense.
confident I would
Hmm.
get that
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So you
So
can
I
look
would
at your
do the more
action plan.
challenging goal, like maybe 10 minutes of exercise. Add on more
Yeah,
time. Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah. And so you can see where 10 might be a little more challenging for you. You'd have to aside a little more time during your lunch hour. Um, so that's where an action plan can get really specific and can ask lots of questions. Now, the action plan form that we're going to have in the comments that everybody can follow to also includes a chart for your progress. So
Oh,
on the
that's
days that you do it, you can check it off. And
nice.
then you can also write other comments like, you know what, 5 minutes was really too easy. I made 10 and celebrate.
There really is something too, and I firmly believe that if you write down your goals, you write down things like this and post them where you can see them every day, you're more likely to achieve those goals.
Yes,
I,
there is
I
something to that. And there's
truly
also
believe that.
sharing it with somebody who
Yes.
will check back in with you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so in Donna also wrote another publication called Action Plan for Healthy Living,
Mhm.
and we'll include that in the links as well. Because what I really enjoy about that is she's written 15 potential topics or details that can help you write action plans. Because I mean, I'm sure you've heard it, but have you ever heard somebody say, I just want to get healthier?
Mhm. Yeah. I just want to make some healthy changes to my life. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Have I said that? Do I do it? No.
Well, but healthy changes are not a SMART goal or an action plan.
Right.
So that's
Very
this
specific about it.
this publication lists things, and just since we've been talking about physical activity, the ones that it lists there is start slow. So if you haven't had an exercise routine or a physical activity routine, make sure you start slow with something you can maintain. Another tip is to find a buddy. More fun with a friend. Even if it's a friend that's a pet, it's more fun. Or to do regular physical activity. So just
And
even being regular about it instead of intense can be more important.
and speaking of finding a friend, I again would
Yes.
like to direct your attention to my shirt I have on today because you could find 5 friends and sign up for Walk Kansas in March and do the Walk Kansas program, which challenges you to walk the distance across Kansas with your friends. Look for more information later this spring.
Yes. We may have to do a whole podcast about Walk Kansas.
I think we should because this is an anniversary year for Walk Kansas, isn't it?
I think it is
I think it is.
25 years.
I think it is. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Anyway,
yes. So, I want to encourage people that, so our example today has been all about physical activity, but really any changes you want to make to be a SMART goal. Should we
yeah,
talk about a different?
you could do a SMART goal on anything.
Absolutely.
Hang on. I had another example and then I lost it.
Oh dear.
Hold on. Don't give up on me. Do not give up on me. For instance, I shot this one to Robin earlier, and she said, "Oh my, you are ambitious." But this one was our podcast goal for us. I said, granted, I got this one off of a website, but I want to boost our podcast listener count by promoting our podcast across social channels. We will post 4 quotes related to new podcast episodes throughout our month to our Facebook account, and we will post 6 short videos of our podcast conversation with, it says with guests. We don't have guests. We'll have to think of something else. Uh, of ourselves to our Instagram account throughout the month. There you go. We could do that. That's specific. The measurable part, our goal is a 20% increase in podcast listeners. 20%. Our podcast attainable. Our podcast listener count increased by 5% last month. Well, we had 0. So, well, actually, we didn't have 0 last month. We had a few last month because we just started. When we published 2 short videos of our podcast. Oh, see, that doesn't pertain to us. Anyway, relevant by increasing podcast listener count will boost brand awareness and generate more leads. Oh, we don't have sales. We'd have to reword that. Time bound. That would be at the end of the month. And it is, so that makes it a SMART goal. There you go. See?
Yes. It's absolutely a SMART goal. You
We'd
can
have to
write
tweak it a little so that it wasn't so businessy oriented because we're not really a business, we're more education. But anyway.
yes, we are about education.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Yes. Uh, this website also had some fairly relevant do's and don'ts for setting your SMART goal. Do you want me to share those as
Yeah,
well?
let's do share
Okay.
this.
All right, so do, and this one I think is, this might be a duh thing, but I think we need to be reminded of this. Use specific wording. Be very specific in your SMART goals. And don't use vague language. You really have to be very specific. I didn't say, for instance, the example I gave, I didn't say I'm going to get extra exercise. I was very specific. I'm going to get 5 extra minutes of exercise. I was very specific. Do include measurable goals. I can easily measure that whether I'm
Correct.
getting those 5 minutes of exercise or not. That is definitely measurable. I did include a goal that I couldn't measure. Do aim for realistically attainable goals. I didn't set an unattainable goal. Like I didn't set out saying, I'm going to run a marathon this year. Now, have I run a marathon? Yes. But that was a long time ago. That was when Jodi was younger. Jodi probably couldn't do that this year without considerable training.
Well, I was going to say a marathon is attainable for some people,
It is, yeah.
and it could be attainable if that was your goal and desire.
Yeah.
I have faith in you. You could get there.
It would take considerable training. Okay. Do pick relevant goals that relate to whatever it is you're trying to attain. Make sure it's relevant. It would not have been relevant for me to say I'm going to eat, extra desserts. That would not help me at all. Yeah. Don't lose, be sure not lose sight of your goals. Okay. And do make the goals time bound. Put a time limit on them. Don't forget to do that. That's
Well,
my
and
do.
I think it's also important that when you're talking about time bound, um, we not say something like, I want to read a book a week for the whole year. That's that puts a lot of pressure on yourself every week. And if you fail in January, then your year's done.
Yeah.
If you're an avid reader, maybe you want to read 50 books in the next year, and you see how that's just slightly different. Now, some people don't have time to read that many books or don't enjoy reading, but they want to challenge themselves, and maybe reading 5 books in the next year would be a
More,
significant
more
increase to them.
realistic. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So what's the benefit in setting and attaining a goal? Why should I do this?
So, if you actually write down your goal, you are more likely to get there. Also, if you share your goal, so whether you share it with a friend or somebody who will just check in and ask you how you're doing on it, or post it somewhere where maybe you just reshare it with yourself every day, if it's something private that you don't want to share with everybody. But if you see it every day, that highly increases your likelihood of achieving. And I think that we all have goals. We just don't always take time to write them down,
Right. Yeah, for sure.
you know. And just
Oh,
just
sure.
writing them down increases our likelihood.
Yeah.
So, I know you said no New Year's resolutions, but do you have any goals or maybe an action plan for this next year?
So that's interesting that you should ask that because we did sit around and talk about that on Monday. We had, or not Monday, last month when we were at our Southwest area Family and Consumer Science Agent Gathering out in Dodge City. Our area director asked us one thing we were proud of for the past year and maybe a goal we had for 2025. And and I'll just tell you what my answer was. My answer was I was proud of achieving the goal that I had set for 2024, and that goal was to, work on some of my leadership skills and be a better mentor, so that I could be a better mentor for the new coworker that I had in my office. And I did that by completing the Northeast the NELD program, which is a nationwide leadership program that I went through last year, and included a lot of traveling. And I was gone a lot from the office. It was a year-long program, and it was fantastic. I would totally recommend it to anyone else that has the opportunity to do that. And I got to make a lot of new friends. It was great, but it kept me away from my family a lot, especially my one kiddo that's still at home and my college kid and a lot of people at home. So my goal for the coming year is to say no to some things and to be home more and to spend more time with family. I mentioned that my dad has some health issues. He's going to need me more at home this year. And so I need to be present more and to be home more. So that's really it's a simple goal, really. But, in our line of work, we have a lot, we don't have a 40-hour a week job. We are gone evenings, weekends, you name it. And sometimes if we would just say no to some things, we could be home more. So there you go. That was my goal.
So,
So how
Jodi,
would you have answered that question? You were not at that meeting, young lady. How would you have answered that question?
oh, I would have rather been at that meeting than being homesick. Let me tell you,
I
I would
know.
have enjoyed that meeting much more than the sickness that was going through my household. So I find it really ironic that I'm kind of at the flip point of where you are. This year I've said yes, and I'm president-elect in our Extension Agent Association for Family Consumer Sciences here in Kansas. So for me, that means saying yes to some more travel. I'll be going to a national leadership conference in February, and then I'll be attending our National Agents Association meeting in October. So it's meant that I have to prepare my family for at least two extra trips when I'm not usually gone throughout the year than normal. So that would be my goal, my plan for this year is to serve our association well and prepare because then I will be president in 2026. That sounds so far away, but yet I know it's just around the corner. And I'm grateful because you were in these shoes not too many years ago. So I
Hmm.
have great leadership to follow and a local resource I know I can call on you when I need to know what I need to be doing. So,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's not a tough job, but it's a great responsibility. Yeah, just a little bit time consuming. Yeah,
it is.
it is.
So, anyway, I find it funny that our work smart goals, action plans kind of have flip-flopped this year.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think it's so important that we do put family first. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not by no means saying that I don't put family first. It's
Oh, yeah,
just
no,
that
I'm not
yeah.
saying that you don't. Yeah, no,
Okay.
no, not at all, not at all, because it is important that we take advantage of those opportunities that our jobs do afford us. I mean, and what other job could we get some of the opportunities that we do? I mean, I was able to travel to some great leadership conferences this past year that were just outstanding. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was really cool.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So we got to share a little bit more about our profession because a lot of people don't understand everything extension agents do as well. So through this podcast, they get little glimpses into our work lives that maybe we don't share in other ways.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I still think it's interesting that we chose the title of our podcast that we did, that we threw in the agent mom part, because I think both of those titles are just so important to us that we had to have both of those titles in the title of our podcast. So yeah, I think
Yep.
that's fun. Yeah.
Well, and that was your brainchild. I wasn't gonna I gave you total credit because I wouldn't have came up with it, but it is
That's
um
who we are.
well, I was a county agent long before I was a mom, and so I've got years of background there and you were a mom first before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did
My
they
my
do
my children know no different.
well, mine won't either. So he enjoys attending meetings. So I'm just like
Who will know how to automatically put up tables and chairs? Mhm.
you don't leave the room until the lights are out and everything's done. Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
exactly right.
Yep.
Okay.
That's okay. So before we close out this episode, what are we doing next? What can they come back to hear from us in a week?
We have had a lot of chatter lately, and I'm not going to get into politics, but about rising grocery store prices and inflation and who's to blame for it. I don't really care who's to blame for it. We all have to pay it, no matter who's to blame. And so I think we're going to talk about some ways to do some smart grocery store shopping. We're going to try and help you out.
Yes. I always think that regardless of what your food budget is, there's ways where you can make better choices uh,
Absolutely.
with it in
Yep.
the grocery store. So I
And
look
then
forward to that.
And in the meantime, you can find, or hopefully you found our podcast either on Spotify or Apple. Please give us a like, give us a rating. Please share us. You can also find us on Facebook at Pratt CO Extension or Barber County Extension. You can find me on Instagram at Pratt KSRE. You can email us your podcast ideas at jdrake@ksu.edu or robin at reubank@ksu.edu. And hopefully, we'll be posting some of these on my YouTube channel at K State Research and Extension Pratt County.
Wow.
That's what I know.
More to come. We're out there. We're committed this year to working on our social media presence and sharing educational opportunities that way. So I'm excited for what 2025 holds for us. So thank you, Jodi, for
Thanks,
today,
Robin. Later.
and we'll see you later.